So there are different steps to revising, and we're going to go through them now. Step 1, read the blurb, highlight for quick reference. 2, read through example. 3, attempt example. 4, check example matches exactly with your working. And 5, work through questions. So let's have a look at how we're going to do this. So I've got the Cambridge textbook loaded up. And when we're starting with this, step 1 was read through the blurb and highlight for quick reference. This is just a quick scan through of this. You're not actually going into depth with this. In fact, I barely read any of this when I'm first looking at a specific chapter because I just honestly just don't understand it. So when I say highlight for quick reference, I just mean highlight stuff that you think is useful, right? And it's just when you're going back through the textbook, it's just easy to see stuff that's highlighted so you can stop and have a look at it rather than just searching for a specific point and not being able to find it. After you've done this, you want to read through the example. So, like I said before, I rarely ever read this first off. I only read it when I need it. And I mainly just go straight to the example. So, let's have a look at this. Basic trig, finding the unknown side in a right-angled triangle. Find the length of the unknown sign x in the triangle shown. Answer correct to 3 decimal places. So, follow the example to a T. So I identify the sides of the right angle triangle that are relevant to the question. So when you're doing this, you got to keep asking yourself why. What? Does this make sense? Right. So identify the sides in the triangle that are relevant for the question. The answers say opposite side is unknown and adjacent side is 20. What if I don't know what adjacent and opposite is? I don't just continue on with the question. I have a look and see if I can figure out what that is, right? Understanding each step, laying those train tracks down. So that's when I go up to here and I have a look. Does it say anything about opposite here? Okay. Opposites, adjacent. And then we can read up here what they mean. Right? So instead of just memorizing that, the hypotenuse, if you see a triangle like this, excuse my crappy drawing triangle. Instead of just memorizing that in this triangle, this is H, and this is O, and this is A useful way to do it is understand why they are actually like that, right? So why is hypotenuse over here? We read over here. The hypotenuse is the opposite side to the right angle. Okay. So it's opposite the right angle. What about opposite? The opposite side is opposite the angle, right? An adjacent side is the shorter side next to the angle. Okay, that makes sense now. Come back to here. Okay, so we understand, right? Identify the sides in the triangle that are relevant to the question. This is going to be O, A, and H. Okay, so what's relevant is X and 20. So what's relevant is going to be O and A. Number 2, determine the ratio that uses sides TOA. What is TOA? We come up here, have a look at this. Okay, tangent, opposite, adjacent. Okay, and we can remember it with this mnemonic. Interesting. What's next? This tan O over A. I don't understand what this is, so I go up and I have a look. Why do we put tan O over A, right? And here we get basic formulas, right? So now see how I'm piecing together each puzzle, right? I'm asking why, so I know for sure why we're doing this, so I can apply it to a different question. Number 3, substitute the known values and X for O. So I'm going to sub in O for X and then 20 for A because that's how we've labeled them. And we end up with this equation here. Tan 35 degrees equals X over 20. Next step. To make X the subject, multiply both sides of the equation by 20, right? Why do we times both sides by 20? Because we want to get rid of x. We want to make x by itself. So we're going to times both sides by 20, right? So we can get x by itself, right? And I'm really trying to hammer this in. We keep asking ourselves, why? Continue on. We put this in the calculator, and then we get this answer. And then it says correct to 3 decimal places. So we're going to get this. And this is the process I want you to go through. This is how I taught myself the subjects for HSC math for however long we were in COVID for. I barely listened to the teacher. All I did was just lock in each math session and just read through the example, maybe search up videos. A useful thing that you guys have now is ChatGPT. If you don't understand a specific step, copy and paste it into ChatGPT and it'll spit you out an answer. Keep asking, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Right? And you'll get to the bottom of everything. So after we've worked through this example, we're actually going to work through it ourselves without looking at the example for help. So I'm going to read the question again, find the length of the side, blah, blah, blah. And without using this example, right, this is important, I'm going to try and work through this myself to prove I understand it. Right? And once I understand it fully, once I complete the question, I check that my working matches the answer's working, so we can make sure it's not just luck, right? We're actually doing it the right way. And then move on to the different examples. And then finally, you're going to do questions. Now, it's questions for the variety principle that we're focusing on. If you want to get better at something, you've got to do a variety of questions that are at a challenge point for you that is going to make you work. It's going to make you think, right? And build those neural pathways in your brain. So I might do A, I might do B, I might do E, I might do A, blah, blah, blah. An easy way to do this is your teacher usually assigns homework for you. All you need to do is do your homework, and I'm pretty sure you should be sorted. But if you need help with anything, right, going through these examples is very, very quick, right? It doesn't take as long as this. I was just showing for example. But once you refine it and you master it, it's so quick, so much easier than watching a video. So have a go at that, and I'll see you in the next lesson.